It's time once again for another episode of the Buckhead Business Show. Being brought to you by the Buckhead Business Association. Broadcasting live from the Pro Business Channel studios in Atlanta. And now, here's your host for today's episode.
Well, welcome. I know the rumors are out there that there's rain in the south again, and we're here in Buckhead today, but the rain never hits us in Buckhead. We're looking at that billion-dollar view, looking south toward the city, and I can just barely see the rooftops of the other Atlanta. But we're here in Buckhead enjoying life, and I think you'll be glad that you're with us today. We've got two fabulous guests today. We've got some guys from a company called Matchbook. Excuse me, not Matchbox. I keep messing. Hey, we need some fire today, so I was thinking Matchbox. But we're going to use the paper matches today. So we're going to Matchbook Media and PR, Matchbox Media PR, and they're Noah and Taylor. And we're going to introduce some individuals as we go through the process today. But boy, these guys have got some exciting stuff going on. They're headquartered over at Strongbox West here, West Midtown, and actually doing some very cool, neat stuff. And we're going to be talking about the individual things that happen as we go through the day and interview them. And we've also got in our studio today one of our fabulous RE/MAX agents here from the Buckhead and Brookhaven area. Joy's going to join us today and also tell us a little bit about the residential real estate market and how she's just a little bit different than your typical agent who finds you the perfect home. Well, perfect home, right?
Oh, very perfect.
All right, we got that sound check in. We just did a little PR there process. So let's start out with Noah. Now, Noah, you know that there's about 10,000 people in the studio today, and we've got to swap seats a little bit. So talk to us about how you're going to be the voice entertainment today. I know what to tell about yourself. God, don't give us one of those.
Well, a little bit about me. Really, I got into the entertainment industry at a young age. Basically, started doing
right after birth, right?
Right after birth, right out the gate, if you will. I think that's the PG version of saying it. Right out the gate, I really wanted to create things, so I started making my own characters, my own comics, if you will, and just kind of started building out storyboards. And now storyboards, for people who don't know, it's almost kind of like plotting out like small imagery, like building out a comic of what your story is going to be like. And I got into that at a young age, but what I wanted to do was I really wanted to tell stories. So I eventually started drawing my own characters and started animating. But along with that, I started doing voice acting. Now, voice acting is something that's really passionate to me, and I wanted to continue building off of that with my career. So I got into the animation industry, and I started doing a lot of film in college. So I was able to develop more characters as I went along. But who knows what characters I'm going to come up with later on, I guess.
There may be some visitors taking seats here. Now, there's another thing about your background I think you need to share with us, not only in animation, but sometimes the computers weren't as fast and as good as we are now. So you got into comic books, didn't you?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Tell us a little about that comic book experience. I bet you made some really neat posters for the Friday night events in college.
Oh, yeah. No, and that's the thing. I definitely we had back in high school we had underground newspapers. I would always make oh wow, it's too edgy. We're talking about the vice principal. Wow. So we always did stuff like that.
Censorship came early in your life.
Absolutely. Oh no, we fought our battles. But I definitely had a lot of fun growing up and doing this stuff. But I realized that I wanted to do it all the time. It wasn't a hobby for me. It was a lifestyle, and I really wanted to make new things. So I eventually kept working at it and developing new things for entertainment studios. I started working with a lot of people. I'm originally from the Northeast, by the way.
We figured that Vermont, New Hampshire might be in your background.
Close
somewhere.
enough. I'm Connecticut, but yeah, absolutely.
It's one of those small, funny states. Squares, wrong. Now, there's one other thing there about that process. So you've been censored early.
Yep.
You talk funny voices.
Yes.
You're in the entertainment business now, and you're in the media and PR business. Now you're a pretty exciting guy. So y'all have got some good things we're going to talk about after the break that you and your partner Taylor are working on. But Taylor, let's run over a little bit here and talk about you for just a minute, because I know you guys do some very neat things together, and you've got a front porch over on the near west side.
Right. Yeah, we're really excited to have you and anyone else come by and have a glass of tea on our front porch anytime. But basically, I started out pretty early, as did Noah.
Right out of the gate, okay? We got that part.
Literally,
it was the best.
Was doing television and commercials by the age of 8, and was pretty full-time as an actor during the summers by the age I was 9. By the time I was the age of 9, and I loved it. My first film set really honestly changed my life. I've never seen such positive collaboration and so many people coming together in the spirit and effort of something greater than their individual selves. So from that point on, I knew that I needed to make it my life's mission to find a way to work in this business. I thought for about 15 years that it would be as an actor. But after going to SCAD in Savannah on an acting scholarship, I found that advertising was actually what I really cared about. So I ended up doing really well with that program and moving to Atlanta. I was able to work with a pretty well-known producer in town, interning on television shows, working as a production assistant, and then doing publicity for a film festival, an annual festival here in Atlanta. And that led to me getting solicited my first client as a publicist. And it was awesome. I got to go to Nashville to represent a celebrity on his film project. He introduced me to the executive producers. They let me represent the entire film project. And I had to Google how to write an AP formatted press release in the hotel room in Nashville because I studied advertising and copywriting, but not public relations.
Now, which English do they speak in Nashville?
It's like a Southern LA blend of language. I don't know how to describe it. It's got a little flavor, but it's also very curt. But anyway, so I got back to Atlanta after that experience, and I was just really passionate about the city and the state, realizing that there were so many talented creatives, whether you're an actor, an illustrator, an animator, a director of photography. So many people were here, but they did not have the tools they needed to get work. And coming from an advertising and marketing background, I realized that I could go ahead and keep playing with people who are already established and maybe make it a little easier on myself breaking into this business. Or I could take the hard road and work with all the people with no money and resources and try to help them break out in the business. And so that's what Matchbook was founded upon. We worked with actors starting off primarily and have had for over 3 years a 100% success rate with our program. If an actor did not have an agent and they came to us and worked with us, we got them an agent. If they had an agent but hadn't booked an audition yet, we worked with them and they booked an audition. And so that was amazing. And now we have our former clients have gone on to star in Paramount Pictures alongside Mickey Rourke, starring on season 2 of Ballers alongside The Rock. All the way to shows like Scream on MTV. I mean, the list goes really on and on and on. And so now, looking back, you really can't tell me that as an actor in the Southeast, you can't break out of this market.
You've certainly helped change
true.
the mold a little bit here. I know that you've got some really interesting things coming up, but as we think about business here in Buckhead, there's an interesting process. And there was a quote just popped to my mind, and both of you guys have already exhibited this, and I know that Joy's probably going to tell us a thing, but there's 2 important days in your life. Well, number one, Noah said it early, the day you're born.
Absolutely.
And then there's that day you figure out why you were born.
Right.
And it sounds like both of you guys have figured it out, but how did you get together, and how did you start Matchbook?
So I want to add really quick, too, because he got to jump ahead. I was like, I only got stopped at high school, but no. No, but yeah, so the thing is to continue with what I was doing, I was building out a lot of stuff with my career of telling stories. That was my passion. And getting a chance to work with animation studios and game studios down in the Northeast, I had a great experience. It was really, really fun. I got to work with NBC and CBS with new film and television programming. But I realized I wanted a new frontier, so I moved down to here in Atlanta because I really wanted to see what was all the commotion about. I really wanted to try something new.
And when did you move to Atlanta, Noah?
I moved to Atlanta about 2.5 years ago. So yeah, no, this is it's honestly, everyone's been welcoming. Thank you, by the way. I appreciate
down south and at home now.
Right,
Now, you've been here about 3 years, right, Taylor?
Actually, I'm born and raised in Georgia, in Covington, actually, and I've been in Atlanta. I founded Matchbook in 2011. Okay. And so before Noah got here, we, like I said, we started working with individuals, right? Mm-hmm. Well, by the time 2012 rolled around, we were doing larger scale events, working with larger groups and organizations. By the time 2013 got here, I had the opportunity to executive produce the first ever SAG-AFTRA new media pilot out of Georgia, We ended up going out of the New York office because they weren't quite
They weren't ready for
that.
Georgia yet.
Yeah, because it's a very forward-thinking concept at the time. Not a lot of people, unlike Noah, who's made a really solid career in new media, here in this market, people weren't really they were putting things on YouTube, but they weren't making professional projects, industry standard projects.
Right.
And so I was, just like, why don't we try to do this? So that went really well. We ended up breaking out several actors for that. Ended up getting a dozen. We made over a dozen SAG eligible on one project, and that changes a lot of lives. And so from that point, I ended up producing for television for a couple of years, working on different programs here in Atlanta. And then finally, about the time Noah got here to Georgia, I was producing an action thriller with Ving Rhames and Luke Goss called Operator, and that was amazing.
Wow.
We were able to, because I've been very active lobbying too. So if you haven't heard,
Well, I've seen you down under the Gold Dome.
yeah, and the Georgia Production Partnership is a great organization. If you're listening to this, please check them out. They're the voice of the industry in Georgia, and they work really hard to make sure that we have the industry changing and creating tax incentives that make all these
Go ahead and
careers
plug
possible.
that website very distinctly while you're talking.
GeorgiaProduction.org.
All right.
And they're actually having a meeting today with Tom Luce, the executive producer of The Walking Dead. So,
Oh my, that's certainly something. Well, Noah, you got to Auburn. You got to Atlanta about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And how'd you find this guy?
So basically, what I was doing, even when I was in the Northeast, moving down here, I was still working on new media development. Now, we both really appreciate the forward thinking with developing your own project, because I always truly believe in that anyone can make something. They just need to get out and do it. And we were able to develop, me and a few teams were able to develop videos that have millions and millions of hits worldwide. And we had great success with it. But what I really wanted to do was I wanted to find someone like-minded who could really translate traditional and new media and utilize all the best aspects of it. Going through doing different events and doing different things with around Atlanta, like doing some nonprofit help and everything, we actually ran into each other. And basically, I want to say maybe like 2-3 conversations, not even. We just kicked it off. We were just kind of like, wow, you make a lot of sense.
Well, Taylor said the collaboration is one of the things that impresses people about Atlanta. We've been so blessed to have people find each other in our environment, because we don't have all those walls. We're a little more friendly some days.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. As soon as Noah and I were able to get together for longer than 2 minutes at a time, the moment, we just really hatched out a plan to relaunch the company together, because by the time he got here, there were a lot of things changing. With the industry, things are going more digital every day, and the models of making films and television shows, those things are shifting every day. The way we distribute those programs and projects is also shifting every day. So after Operator, we premiered that project at Cannes, and it got distributed worldwide. So it's called different things in several different countries. And now, with the same aspect that you can't tell me that you can't break out an actor out of this market, you can't tell me that you can't produce a project that goes somewhere out of this market.
Right.
And so what Noah and I, when we got together, we both shared that goal. However, I'm a traditional media guy. I've learned and I feel gotten pretty good at dealing with public relations work, especially press releases and distribution, and also, traditional producing work, when it comes to television and film. But when it comes to new media, animation, and I think he should talk about this a little bit as well, gaming and game design, we just complemented each other so well. We had similar production management skills and philosophies, similar public relations skills and philosophies, but we both shared very different skill sets. And when people can come together that understand both their challenges and their strengths and find people complementary to those, I think you can do a lot. And we've only been together now as a company since about March, and already we have done some major things in this market.
6 months in the new relaunch of the company. Yeah, let me talk about something fun, and we'll go back to gamification and animation with Noah. I was on a conference call yesterday, or a webinar, or listening to somebody at least way smarter than I am about gamification. And it was a telesales type call, And I had folks talking about the gamification just on a daily and hourly basis of letting people have fun while they make those 60 phone calls an hour or those 30 connections or whatever they're doing. And it was very interesting to see how the animation and the keeping of score and moreover, because of our technology, to be able to report that score on a dashboard so that everybody who needs to know what's happening doesn't have to ask.
Right.
And presenting things to us in a video and presenting things even graphically or audio in an audible manner, subliminally, was one of the key things that they were talking about.
Yeah, well, I'm very passionate about the animation in the gaming industry specifically because there's so many different ways to tell a story. In any kind of medium,
color or black and white to start with.
Absolutely, absolutely. But what's fantastic about with animation, what's great about it is you can bend reality as far as you want to, and with games, you can actually put someone in a driver's seat and have them feel experiences right away. That's what's great about concepts like game.
That's back to that 3D stuff,
right? Well, not you know, it's funny too. Even a pixelated 2D game can make you feel something depending on the narrative or the story or the actions it makes you do. And what's great about it is, you know, I'm not going to get on a rant about like gaming is art.
No, but I'm ready. I'm ready for your Pong imitation now. Go ahead, 2D pixelated.
I know,
okay.
but yeah, basically, what's cool about it is you can make people laugh, you can make people feel a really heartfelt story, or you can get people in a room where they want to socialize, where they didn't feel like they can bond and have a connection. The gaming industry has a really fascinating way to tell a story like never before. And the way I see it is it's a great way to bring people together to have fun, but also to explore what you can make. So I always encourage people who want to get into the industry or people who are in the industry to take what's good about the old and make something new, but also enrich someone's life with your story.
Cool. Well, we've got a lot of excitement to go on, and I think 3D, black and white, all those different things. But you know, here we are in Buckhead today with a little bit of not springtime weather. What is this? This is almost winter weather.
Monsoon weather?
Nah, it's just a little bit of rain in the south. But
yes.
You know, we're here because of the Buckhead Business Association and the things that people find to be exciting and interesting. I want to make everybody aware that we do meet once a week. Just once a week. That comes up every Thursday morning. We meet over at the City Club of Buckhead. We have a lot of good events. We do some things after hours so that people can stretch out and not have to get up early every morning. But one of the things we've got going on is the annual luncheon coming up in January. So that's we want to make sure that everybody watching and listening to the show remembers that they saved that third Thursday lunchtime of January to come down to the Rich. Where are we doing it this year? I think we're doing it over in the Marriott again, right?
That sounds good to me. Yeah, I'm there.
And Rich is not even going to pronounce the speaker, but let me tell you what, we've got a speaker this year that is going to. Matter of fact, go to the website buckheadbusiness.org. Look at the speaker, and there'll be a test because this guy has one of those folks who paid a seal to come live in his home. Not a seal like is the one that does the fish. No, this is like one of the seals that like go to Iraq and do fun things. Oh. But this is a seal he had lived with him for 30 days to change his life. So as we said back before, the day you're born and the day your life changes. Can you imagine having someone get you out of bed every morning before your coffee and tell you what you're going to do to get yourself in shape to be ready to face the new world? And as you said, with gamification, animation, and all those things, we're facing a new world literally almost every day. So well, hold a minute on your other project. Let's talk with Joy, who's one of our good RE/MAX agents, joining us in the studio today to talk about residential real estate and why it's the most important place you can put your head, right?
Yeah, I've seen real estate at its lowest, and I've seen real estate do really good. So I decided to get into this about 11 years ago. I've been doing sales for quite a while now. As a little girl, I was handing out, merchandise in my grandfather's store. So I think I acquired that, I want to help people. And the other side of me is very analytical, numbers. So I feel like I address my career now. I, number one, wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Well, thank you for that. That's one of those bold steps.
Yes. And in order to make that step, I thought real estate might be a good transition. Who knows where where I'll be. I'm not ready to give up to the end on what the best job or the best career would be. But at this time, I am very entrepreneur. I run my business very detailed. And one of the things that I grew up with and took it all the way to my adulthood was customer service. I've been treated really, really bad in my life through vendors, going into stores, buying things, getting cheated. Maybe it's because I felt like when you buy a car, you're a woman, take for them for granted. But I strive to be really smart. I try to be like on the up and above. So when it comes to a customer buying a home, my goal is to make sure they get the best value. I'm not trying to just push the home on them and they live in it and then they're miserable. The fact of the matter is I see a lot of agents that leave their clients hanging. They just, show up when they can. They don't answer the phone. The customers are complaining to me that, they wouldn't take me to many places. They wouldn't tell me about the details of the area. And they certainly didn't go through the research. And that's what I pride myself on is a lot of numbers and research. Know the area, know the neighborhood, know, what the best value is. Because not only are you buying a home to live in, you're buying that home so in a few years you're making money on it. That's my mentality and how I run my business, that I want not only myself to make money, but I want everybody around me to make money.
That's so that home is your nest egg, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How in the marketplace today, we all heard the story about buy a little bit of Buckhead and take good care of it. I'm sure you service the entire metropolitan area, but talk about some of the hot spots in our community.
Well, obviously, Buckhead has made a huge transition. I mean, we saw it back in, 2005, 6, and 7, kind of look like a deserted little area. But now you've got the Village, which is incredible. I mean, I've traveled all over this country, and I would say it's real close to Rodeo Drive. I mean, it's looking really, really good. And just to kind of transition with the guys here, I have sold homes all over the city and noticed in town a lot of actors, a lot of people coming to Atlanta that you didn't see that 10, 11, 15 years ago when I was here. And the city has definitely transitioned to the opportunity of all kinds of careers. I mean,
everything around media is just from Comcast alone bringing 1,000 new people to the city to be out by the stadium where they've got the highest speed internet in the city, in the area.
Right.
But, it's just amazing the opportunities we have now to do things that we could never do before. The commercials about the smartphone. Wow, what's a smartphone going to be next month? That new commercial with the let's see, do we have a Motorola plug here for Moto? Can we use a name like that?
We'll have to charge them. Yeah,
we'll have to charge them. But when you just think about it, the experiences you can have now with just a little 2.5 inch screen, or your iPad, or your tablet, or your billboard, who would have ever thought?
Yeah.
And do you have your face on a billboard yet?
No,
Not
because
yet.
honestly, I built my business through the internet.
All right.
I learned quick.
Well, that's
that
like being a billboard.
Technology was the way to go. A lot
It's
of real
important.
estate agents still live in the old school where you just sell to your neighborhood, know, and my forte is to react to that technology online. I am really into that. And I'm not such a young chickie, Dee. And
you have celebrated your 19th, maybe not your 29th or your 39th birthday, but you're working on it, right?
Yeah, I try to stay young, and I definitely like working with young people, and it's very energizing to sell homes to them. It really is fun.
Well, it's very good. You hit on the outline, and the gentleman here also in the same marketplace. You can be a star at 5 years old. You can be a star at 75 years old. You also need to buy homes about every 5 years anyway.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so having a real estate agent you can count on, you wouldn't have a newbie do your will each year.
Exactly.
And you don't want to have a different real estate agent if you can avoid it. But some people have to move between cities. And I know that you're with RE/MAX, right?
Yes.
And RE/MAX does a great job of referrals, so you're always glad to find, see, smell, touch, and work with one more customer, right?
It definitely promotes entrepreneurialism, too, compared to a lot of the other brokerages in the area. They're more corporate moved, and I just like working on my own. I'm very motivated to self-discipline to get the thing done by myself.
Well, Joey, I'll always like to hear those one-liners, those two-liners, those three-liners. So what is your elevator speech for real estate?
Well, I'm here today to talk about how do I make people see what realtors really do for you. I mean, people do not know what is involved, and it's not that big, fancy lifestyle either. We work a lot of hours. We give out a lot of ourselves. We listen to a lot of stories. And I like to see people know the details so that there's a lot more respect in the industry.
Well, give us your 30-second most exciting story in real estate.
Well, I have a funny story.
We'll take a funny one today.
Well,
we might make it a comic book. No.
Exactly, because my dream is to actually do a reality show of what real transactions look like.
Okay.
Hey, Rich, here's an opportunity. Let's
have a conversation later.
So and that's one thing about me. I do not stick with one type of personality or clientele. When people come to me and say, "Can you help me?" If I'm happen to be in that spot, it could be in the lower end of town. It could be, I sell homes. I've sold a $30,000 home and I've sold a $500,000, $600,000 home. So my style is, I met this couple. It was a listing, and they were foreign, and they didn't know anything about how to do a transaction, and they wanted to pay cash. But I said, well, okay, well, what, to start them, it was kind of funny that they said we have cash, and I'm like, well, where is it? What bank? So we can, and it ended up being underneath in a bookcase. Oh. So I was like, oh my God, this is okay. So you have it was a $135,000 transaction, and they never put the money in the bank. And so the funniest thing, I showed up, I held their hand through the whole thing, and I showed up to the bank because I told them the first thing you got to do is put the money in the bank, because the closing attorney will not accept this cash on the table.
Duffel bags do not work.
Right.
They showed up. It was so funny with the duffel bag on their shoulder of all this cash into the bank. It was hilarious.
Well, I know that banker has a good story too, so a lot of people have good stories. Well, Joy, how do people find Joy, the great real estate agent from RE/MAX today?
Well, it's really easy. JoyMcGraw.com. And
could you spell that?
Oh, it's JOY, like Christmassy joy, JOYMCGRAW.com. And
best phone number?
It's real easy, 770-329-3793. And I always answer my phone.
And the best email, in case you don't have time to go to your website and click contact me?
Yes, jmcgraw@remax.net.
Cool.
Thanks so much for the time today.
Joy, it was great to have you in the studio today. Now, I've saved a couple minutes here at the end because I want to go back and talk about something fun the boys are doing here. They have they're fixing to launch something which really will help their industry, and actually will help your industry, because more people will be better, make more, and be looking for a new house to put their head in, their rack. So, Taylor and Noah, share with me what you're doing in terms of connecting people. One of the things here we do at the radio station, and one of the things we do in Buckhead, is we try to help people find resources they probably couldn't find by themselves. And I think you've got a neat initiative coming up in next year that will do that.
Absolutely. There are a couple things. First off is our monthly event series that we're kicking off at the beginning of the year. It's called Ignite. We're really excited about it. We'll be hosting it at 1040 West Marietta Street, Atlanta, Georgia, 30318 at Strong Box West. And basically what we're doing there is we've partnered with the Ritz Group, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. But we're really excited now because with the state of Georgia, right, we're number 3 in the nation for production. But when you look around the rooms, and I'm a part of most industry groups here in town. I just joined the NATS and went to my first Emmy party last week, so that was fun. But the Georgia Production Partnership, WIFTA, all these great groups, right? But you don't really see anyone truly profiteering from this multi-billion-dollar business here. And why? Well,
money's in a duffel bag, right?
So to speak. Well, we're a location state, right? And so it's great for studios. It's great for the below-the-line crew because we build up an infrastructure there. But the money comes from LA or New York. The project is made here. And then the money and resources go back to LA or New York, where the project is then distributed and the creative property, the intellectual property, is there owned. And so how do we fix that? And, right now in the state of Georgia, we are benefiting from the consequences of decisions being made outside of our market. And we're saying, hey, let's do what we can to become players in those decisions. Good. And so what we're doing is we're launching statewide initiatives to bring the industry together, the best of, and we're also launching a fund so that we can start investing in Georgia-based companies and projects that go somewhere.
Wow. You got way past the event. Let's go back and focus on the event because we'll wrap up.
This is important because this is the mission. Okay. So if you want to be a part of that, you should come out to our event at the beginning of the year. We're going to be hosting these events every month with a special curated list of speakers. We're inviting some great network producers, directors, basically employers, and some great people below the line that need opportunities, as well as vendors such as yourself, Joy.
So that's going to be on a Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Thursday, what night?
We're probably going to be looking at a Thursday night.
It's going to be a 6 to 9 type event?
Mm-hmm. Probably something like a 7 to 9 type deal.
You're going to be over in the west side again. Give that address.
Yeah, 1040 West Marietta Street. And that's Atlanta, Georgia 30318. And please keep updated with us on our website. We're sharing all the latest news there. We've partnered with Paramount Pictures to release behind the scenes info of all their latest projects as well. Matchbookeast.com. That's matchbookeast.com. But good. Noah, he wanted to talk about UCAN really quick.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. So we have a really cool program happening really soon called UCAN. Now, to paint the picture really quickly, a lot of people go into this industry really wanting to make things. They want to tell stories. They want to develop things. Now, Matchbook Media Plus PR, we really believe in the fact that people get opportunity. People deserve the opportunity to be able to do what they want to do, to develop their product, to help out their business, and we want to be a part of that initiative first and foremost. But we also are partnering with the Ritz Group for a new project called UCAN. Now, in this industry, a lot of people see it as there's this invisible wall with a big fog around it, that it's really hard to get into this industry sometimes.
That's like real estate, too, in a way.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people see it where it's just like, okay, where's the staircase? Where's the rope? Where's the ladder? How do I get across this? Well, UCAN almost creates an opportunity for doors to be opened, almost in a literal sense. And what's going to be great about it is we're going to be able to give more details as we go along, but we want to create a program that's going to allow people to connect with other content creators, connect with studios, and be able to reach out to more people who are like-minded who want to accomplish the same thing.
Right.
Now, again, social media is great, but there are a lot of venues that there's a lot of holes within social media that don't connect people the right way, and we want to create that first and foremost for everybody. So we're really excited.
Action in social
is that going to be
exactly.
That's going to be a web-based solution for people to go to, and there's a UCAN website?
Right, yes. We're going to be we're developing everything.
We're going to be first of the year?
Mm-hmm, we'll be updating everyone at the beginning of the year with the launch.
Well,
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to that curated web list you're going to have, and I hope people will go to your website at
matchbookeast.com.
Yes, also follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well, too.
Follow you on all those things. So we've had Noah and Taylor with us today, and representing the side of industry which most people don't realize how fast it's growing and how big the duffel bag with the money coming back and forth to Georgia might be.
Absolutely.
And Joy from Remax today, thank you for being with us. And I think you'll probably have a couple more folks who are just looking for that perfect home to lay their head in.
Thank you for your time.
And we appreciate the Buckhead Business Association for sponsoring us today. And we're here at the Pro Business Channel in our $1 billion view looking over Buckhead. And it's clearing up. So all you folks have a great afternoon and a great holiday, and we will see you soon.
Thank you for joining us and our guests on the Pro Business Channel. Use the social media